to talk to you about your decision to remain single since your 40s. Have you ever regretted that?
Never for a moment. Never for a moment.
I think a lot of us women now are at this point in our lives where we've done the healing work and we're so content and at peace and at ease with our lives that now when people come in, we're asking them, are you coming in to interrupt our peace? Or are you coming in to add value to our lives?
I have been single for over 6 years and I've been celibate for 3. And if there's anything that I can tell you from this experience is that it is the greatest thing that will ever happen to you if you choose to walk the path of being single.
It always makes me laugh when men in my comment section say, well, if you don't settle down, you're gonna be old and childless and you're gonna be an old cat lady.
Reasons why I just love being single. 1, if I wake up at 3 a.m. and I want to drive somewhere and get me a freaking hot little snack, I don't gotta tell nobody.
A lot of women choose to be single. It's not that we're not able to get a man. We choose to be single.
Whenever a woman says that she's single and she's good looking and all of that stuff, men especially tend to assume that it's because there's a problem with her.
This is probably reason number 500,000 of why I'm going to be single for the rest of my life, and I'm fine with that. I don't want to do anything for you.
It's 2025, and more women than ever are saying, you know what? I'm good on my own. No boyfriend, no husband, no situationship, just peace. But this isn't about can't get a man. It's about not needing one. So the big question is, why are so many women choosing to be single on purpose? Is it the dating pool, the rise of independence, or are women just done settling for the bare minimum? In today's video, we're breaking down what's really going on behind this growing shift and why it might not be such a bad thing.
Ever since being single, I've really realized how much people pity single people. Like every time I say I'm single, everyone has to say like, don't worry, you're gonna find your person, a man will come, like don't worry. Girl, I'm not worried. I'm actually not worried, like in the slightest. I'm actually really happy. I'm actually really free. I'm actually really enjoying my time. I'm actually self-sufficient. I can take care of myself. I pay my own bills. I'm actually good. This like weird idea that like, don't worry, your life will start when you find a man is so weird to me. Like my life has started. My life is thriving actually. And when a man comes, sure, I'll be excited. Sure, I love like a little attention, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I'm not sitting here waiting for life to get good when I finally meet the one. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the one. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm the one, guys. We don't have to feel bad. So next time people say they're in a relationship, I think I'm going to be like, oh, don't worry. Don't worry. You'll feel that breath of fresh air again one day. Don't worry, maybe you guys will break up. Don't worry.
I don't know about the rest of my single folk, but every day single, I become less and less interested in the idea of a relationship or marriage. I've had my fair share of relationships. Some were okay, some were terrible. I genuinely just feel like there's nobody out there that I am compatible enough with to settle down. Maybe that's selfish of me, but I honestly don't care. I feel like so much of my life is centered around taking care of other people and not taking care of myself. When I think about my dreams for the future, it used to involve getting married, but I don't know if that's something I want anymore. I used to think being alone meant that I had to give in to the feeling of loneliness. And while I do feel that way sometimes, it's actually very freeing to be able to do what you want without having to answer to anybody. Maybe I'll change my mind eventually. I don't know.
I have been single for over 6 years and I've been celibate for 3. And if there's anything that I can tell you from this experience is that it is the greatest thing that will ever happen to you if you choose to walk the path of being single. I never discovered who I was until I was truly on my own and alone. And I did not experience nowhere near the amount of growth that I have experienced. I found so much self-worth. I found all of my passions. I found my hobbies. I've really cultivated who I am. And I got to the point where I was so comfortable being alone that 3 years of celibacy just came naturally to me, which is the most craziest thing ever. If you would have told me 7 years ago that I would ever even be saying that, I would be like, you're fucking crazy. The hardest part about being single for this long is just the beginning, just the withdrawal period of getting to, because you don't really know yourself yet. So you're not really comfortable with just your own presence and you still need other people to validate your existence. existence and you're constantly wanting to text someone, tell them about your day. So that period where you're adjusting to not having someone all the time and you have to validate your own existence, that's the only part that's really uncomfortable. And the more that you go into it, the more you just start to flow through it with ease. And then you get really, really comfortable with being on your own. And when you get really comfortable with being on your own, you really raise the bar for who comes into your life, because they need to make your life significantly better. Essentially, the more time that you spend on your own and cultivating a relationship with yourself, the higher your standards get. And that is a really great thing. You can technically kiss toxic relationships goodbye, because the healthiest relationship you can ever have is with yourself. So if you're contemplating being single and going down that journey, I could not recommend it enough.
I am at the stage in my life where I just do not want to date. It's the fact that I've been single so deeply. No talking stages, no flings. We've been told that being single is the worst thing ever, especially in your 20s, because these are your prime years and this is the best that you're going to look. Your market value apparently reduces when you're older, which is all untrue. But it gets to you at some point because you keep thinking to yourself, like, am I wasting the best years of my life doing nothing? But the way I look at it is, in a few years, I might get married, okay? And I might have kids. And at that point, I'm going to envy this 25-year-old me who had no responsibilities in life and who could sit in her car at literally 1:30 a.m. talking about how she loves being single and having no responsibilities. If in 2 years I do get married and I'm responsible for my in-laws and I have to think about what they think of me and I have all of these changes that I have to accommodate to, all of these are such big changes and I'm not going to be me anymore. And I really ask myself every once in a while, is it that important to get married? Because I don't have that need. Now it might come when I grow older, but as of now, I don't really feel the need. But I'm just worried about being like 40 years old and looking back and then regretting it. That's the only thing. Not even the fear of growing old. It's not even the fear of being single. It is the fear of regretting not finding someone during these prime years of my life. Why can't I spend the prime years of my life just resting, relaxing? Why does it have to be engagement or marriage or kids? Why can't I just chill, float? But it is literally just the fear of regret. I'm done ranting.
I don't know if anyone can relate to this, but I've been single for a really long time. And I always have guys asking me like, oh, how's a girl like you single? Like insinuating like I shouldn't be. And I'll tell you why I'm still single. Because my standards are, at this point, they're through the roof. Like, good luck meeting them. I mean, I require reciprocated energy, good communication, meaningful conversation that's not just how was your day, respect of my time, actually treating me like you value me as a person and that you can actually bring something positive into my life.
It's so funny to me how so many men think that when they say to a woman, that's why you're single now, that we take that as like a diss or something, when so many women will get on here and be like, I've been single for 5 years, I've been celibate for 10 years, I've been single for 3 years, however long. And these women are literally the happiest women. They're literally so happy because they don't have a freaking gremlin in their life tormenting them and causing them unnecessary stress, anxiety, and health issues that they would not have if they were single. And so being single is actually a flex, right? Being in a happy and healthy relationship is a flex too, but being single is a definite flex because you don't have to deal with a man who is basically making your life a living hell. Now, for all the ladies who are in happy, healthy relationships, yes, kudos to you. Flex. Go ahead and flex. One day I will get there too. But right now, I am happier single than in a relationship that's unhealthy. And based off of all the relationships I've been in the past, they have all been unhealthy. So where I'm at right now, I'm happy, and so many other women are happy. So if these men are still out here thinking that they're dissing us in any sense by saying that's why you single now, that's why you can't get a man, right now I don't want a man. Like, what do you think this is? I'm at peace, honey. Peace is priceless. You cannot take that away from me ever. So yes, girl, I feel you. Being single for however long is a huge flex. That's where your peace resides. That's where you find yourself. That's where life basically flourishes. Thank God.
You know why I'm never gonna shut up about being a single girl who lives alone is because I am the first woman, not only in my family, in my entire lineage, who's able to live alone. My mom was never able to live alone. Her mom was never able to live alone. Her mom was never able to live alone. Multiply that times infinity for the rest of forever till the beginning of humanity. And it actually is that deep. If you're a girly who's living right now in your own little apartment, can afford your own bills, can pay your own rent, you don't rely on your family, you don't rely on a man in your life to financially provide for you, you're quite literally breaking generational trauma. I can literally say it started with me. My sisters Everyone after me, I was the first. I was literally the first woman in my entire female lineage to live alone. It is that deep, and that's fucking crazy, and I will not shut up.
Being a single woman is not a compliment in every case.
Here we go.
I'm sorry, it's just not. It actually raises a lot of red flags, to be honest. Because now you got your counterparts and your peers asking behind your back if you even capable of keeping a relationship, keeping a man or keeping a woman, etc. See, a lot of y'all felt triggered by that settle video, which was eye-opening to me because obviously we have a lot of women living in the state of delusion, thinking that they just gonna find the most perfect man ever. And if not, and they can't find that, they'll just be single, as if that's supposed to do any type of advancement to our society. Ask yourself, what is your purpose on the earth as a woman if you're not seeking some type of family, and especially family of your own? Like, what exactly are you trying to accomplish on this earth?
Let me help you out, my man. There's a difference between wanting to be single and choosing to be single. And most women are choosing to be single because there's just no good men out there. Let me give you an example. I had a good friend come to me a couple of years ago saying, Robbie, help me find a good man. She's educated, got a great career, beautiful, and someone that you would want to marry. And trust me, I know plenty of single men, but they're single for a reason. Every good man I know is taken by a woman, and that should be the testimony. When a woman finds a good man, she knows how to hold on to that good man. And that's why women are single, because simply put, there just aren't any good men out there.
I feel like women are choosing to stay single because of the fact that we know that men don't like us. Not all men, of course. And it's not just weaponizing confidence and single married mom. Women know that you guys don't really like us. You see often women talking about how men don't remember their birthdays or their holidays or don't know what they like. Some of them can't name their siblings or their partner's parent. But you're active in your local Dungeons and Dragons team, or you participate in the fantasy football draft and the whole entire season. You can spout off stats about Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or your favorite baseball team or rugby team. You know these people's hometowns and birth dates and shit. But you choose to not invest that time in your partner because honestly, you don't care enough. If you loved your partner, wouldn't you want to know like their favorite TV show, their favorite meal, what they like to read about? If you really cared about your partner, if you have children, you should be able to take care of those children without texting or calling your partner every 5 minutes if they've left the house. But often, and we see this often, women don't have that in their partnership. And that's why so many women are choosing to stay single. Because women can find love and companionship in platonic relationships. And of course, it's not all men and all relationships. But if you listen, it's happening often. I know from experience, like I would invest time in trying to know what my partner liked. Did I want to listen to Michael Kay in the morning and the sports shows? No. Did I really care about learning what's going on in a hockey game? Not really. Guess how much interest I had really in learning how to play Yu-Gi-Oh? Zero. But I did these things because I loved my partner and I wanted to do stuff that they enjoyed. I wanted to know why they loved it so much. I wanted to be able to spend time with them because I knew they loved doing that, but wouldn't do anything with me and my friends and the things that I like. So for me to be able to spend time with them, I had to mold myself into someone who resembled them. But they never put that effort into me. A lot of women are feeling the same exact way and are ending relationships and they're staying single. But that's just my 2 cents.
How do you share a bathroom with a partner? Gross. I don't want to do that. If I showed you this makeup table right now, it's got makeup and crap all over it. I'm kind of messy, but I don't want to deal with someone else's mess. I'd have to have my own bathroom. I'd have to have my own closet. He'd have to have, might even want separate bedrooms so we could just come together when we felt like having a lot of fun. I would love to be, it would have to be someone who travels so we could miss each other because I don't want to be up your butt all the time and I don't want you up mine. And all these things have just developed this list of like, oh, you think this would only work for me? This is just who I am, the way I'm built. I think this would only work for me if there was this qualifying criteria. And that's nearly impossible. And I really have come to terms with, I'm pretty comfortable. My life is very, very good. It is a very full, beautiful existence with lots of love and lots of friends. And I already told you, I got to water the garden. I'm abstinent, not celibate. So things are tended to. I will never have a tiny body, and I've come to love the big body that I live in. And that was impossible. That's been impossible when trying to fit myself into the mold of what I think a man wants. I don't know. Nobody does talk about mature women and what happens when we've been abstinent or celibate for a long time. And I think that's just because we are at peace. There's not a lot to say. Life is pretty good. And it's made a lot simpler when there's no one to be tap dancing for all of the time.
I see a lot of videos on this app of women who are in their 30s and single saying they're the only person that's single in their friend group. Like, all their friends are partnered, they're having kids, or settling down, yada yada. For me, it's the opposite. I'm 30 and I've been invited to like maybe 2 friend weddings, and none of my friends are settling down. None of my friends are even in relationships. So I feel I bring a very unique perspective to the conversation on men and like dating in your 30s, because not only am I 30 and single, a lot of my friends are 30 and single, and they live across the country. So this isn't just like, oh, I'm in San Diego, it's the San Diego guys. No, this is literally from East Coast to West Coast. And you can tell me I'm biased, but literally all my friends are hot, bad bitches who are independent and have really solid careers. So like, in my mind, these are people that should have a boyfriend. Like, you'd want to date them. But literally nothing is working out for any of my friends. If it were just me, I would think, okay, I'm the problem. But the fact that this is my friends that are across the country that are having this issue, it's the men. Like, it's literally, it speaks to the quality of men. It's just always so disappointing. And listen, I'm not saying there's not good men. There are. But the ones that are, they get scooped up because there's like 10 of them. There's like 10 good ones and 5,000 terrible ones. I'm waiting for the day that someone proves me wrong.
This is probably reason number 500,000 of why I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. And I'm fine with that. I don't want to do anything for you. I don't want to cook for you. I don't want to clean for you. I don't want to be your secretary and set your appointments and chase you around and make you go because of your health. I don't want to pick up your socks for you. I don't want to be one of those people who comes on TikToks and makes funny videos about how you can't do anything for yourself, and men do the darndest things and everybody's in the comments like, yeah, my husband does that too. My boyfriend does that too. Fuck that. I want to be with somebody who is an adult, a fully functioning adult. It's been proven time and time again that men are the ones who benefit from marriage and relationships, because we get in them and we do everything, and they just get to sit back and receive everything from us. And then as a treat, they might do something for our birthday or for Mother's Day. Men get to exist in relationships and just receive. Why can't we exist together? And if we do nice things for each other, it's just organic. It just happens. But it's not the expectation. It's not something I have to do because I'm the woman. When I come home after a long day, I don't want to cook either. I don't want to do shit either. Why can't we flip a coin to see who cooks, or if we order food and then whoever cooks, the other person cleans? Why can't you pick up after yourself? Why can't you set your own appointments? Why do I have to be your secretary? I'm not working for you. I'm not working for you. I have gotten so lazy. I'm not doing anything. And then there are men who will say, well, then what are you good for? What's the reason why someone should be with you? You're proving my point. You just want to be with somebody to do everything for you. I want to be with a fully functioning adult male who we can come together and exist together, do fun stuff together. We take turns, we pull our own weight. And that seems to be unreasonable. Asking someone to be an adult is unreasonable? I don't even want a cat. I don't even want a pet. I have a plant. I'll be a plant lady. I will be happy. I will not take care of a grown person. I won't.
I wanted to talk to you about your decision to remain single since your 40s. Have you ever regretted that?
Never for a moment. Never for a moment. It's not like it was a conscious decision that on February the 12th at 8 p.m. I sat down and I wrote down, I will never get involved with a man. No, it wasn't that way. It's just, in the course of my life, that was not an issue. It was simply ceased to be an issue.
Yeah. But the celibate part, was that a bitch?
No. Because, it's a law of physics that an object in motion tends to stay in motion, and an object at rest tends to stay at rest. So you know, when you're sexually involved, you want more and you want more, and then when you're not having it, somehow it just fades fades onto the back burner.
I think a lot of us women now are at this point in our lives where we've done the healing work and we're so content and at peace and at ease with our lives that now when people come in, we're asking them, are you coming in to interrupt our peace? Are you coming in to add value to our lives? Because if you're not coming in to add value but just disrupt us and take from us, we're good. We're not afraid of being alone anymore. We're actually tired of having people come in and take from us and not give back anything. Leaving us empty, questioning things, feeling confused, feeling tired, feeling drained. We're over it. So unless you're coming in to add value, leave us alone.
Let's be real. This isn't just a trend. Women aren't single because they can't find a man. They're single because they're tired of choosing between peace and partnership. They've seen too many toxic relationships, too many broken promises, and too much one-sided effort. And now they're asking themselves, why should I settle when I can be single, successful, and stress-free? And here's the wild part. Some women say they feel more empowered, more focused, and even happier when they're not tied to someone who drains them.
It always makes me laugh when men in my comment section say, well, if you don't settle down, you're gonna be old and childless and you're gonna be an old cat lady. Listen, brother, I just got back from an 18-kilometer run. I am 1 month out from my ultra marathon. Freshly shaven legs, moisturized. I am now wearing a dress. I'm going to take myself out for dinner and I'm gonna get a juicy steak. And the house is clean. Everything is clean. And when I get back from my dinner, I am going to do a full skincare routine. And then I'm gonna crawl into bed with my freshly shaven legs, and it's gonna feel so nice against my sheets. I'm gonna light a candle, I'm gonna hang out with my pet rabbit, and then I'm gonna go to bed early. And I'm gonna get 8 to 10 hours of sleep, and it's going to be the best. My skin is the clearest it's ever been. My cortisol levels are balanced. I have a jawline. Can't say I had that when I was in a relationship constantly stressed out. And life is good. Life is really good. Fresh manicure. I love it here. I love it here. So I just might take the cats.
In China, girls like me are called leftover women because I'm 29, single, and child-free. And somehow, that's still controversial. Hi, I'm Jessie, a 29-year-old living in Shenzhen, China with my 8-year-old dog. China's birth rate just hits its lowest in 43 years. In Korea, women launched the 4B movement. No dating, no sex, no marriage, and no kids. East Asian women are just done with it. But why? First off, starting a family is just way too expensive now. In China, marriage isn't really romance, it's more like a business contract. You need a car, an apartment, and over $15,000 in betrothal gifts. And if you dare to have a child, you better be prepared. The total cost to raise one child in China is about $100,000, but the average couple's income is only $14K. Even if you skip your kids' math classes and piano lessons, you still be struggling for decades. And secondly, marriage is the biggest lie that's ever been sold to women. Most women believe settling down would somehow bring them security, only to realize they're expected to sacrifice their ambitions and dreams along the way. I've seen too many women slowly lose themselves over the years, and I just don't think it's worth it. At 29-year-old, I'm finally able to support myself doing whatever I want and buy the things I love, and having a child could change that anytime. Would I ever get married or have kids? Maybe. But today, I choose peace, and honestly, I've never been happier.
Some girl DM'd me today asking me how I was doing so well being single and not wanting to go on dating apps or date men, and I gave her a genuine response, but I also just came to the biggest memory from last February where I went on Amazon and I ordered pink sheets, okay? Pink sheets. I was at the time dating a man. And I was like, that said man was out of the house at the time. The pink sheets came in the mail. I put the pink sheets on. I came home, or he came home, and he said to me, were we not going to have a conversation about these pink sheets? Mind you, it's my house, my apartment, my bed. And he asked me if we needed to have a conversation about pink sheets. So when I think about dating a man, granted, I know that the next man I date will be a healthy man, healthy relationship. But I think about that and I'm like, why, again, would I put myself through anything that could possibly have that outcome? I don't know. But the authentic advice was that You'll literally only be single for so long. Eventually, you will find a person that is going to be your forever person. And when that time comes, you will no longer get to experience what being single is like anymore. You'll forever have a partner, and I'm sure you'll be extremely happy that you have that person with you for the rest of your life. But in the time being, since single is fleeting, I'm going to enjoy every aspect of it and not rush to be with any man that's going to ask me why I got pink sheets on my bed.
Ladies, today I have a message for you again. If you want to discover something about yourself, stay single. Please have a period in your life where you're single, on your own. Nobody texting you, nobody on the side. You're totally single to figure out who you are. Because most of us jump from one relationship to another, transferring the same cycle of the same thing we are running away from, and not being self-aware. We're also presenting ourselves in some situations that we also don't know what to do because we don't know ourselves. So I'm advising you, ladies, find it in your journey as a woman, a period where you're just single by yourself, where you learn to enjoy your own company, where you enjoy to talk to yourself, where you enjoy to stand in the mirror naked and admire your body, where you look at your phone and there's nobody texting you and you're still okay, where you just go to work, figure things out, do your thing on your own without a man somewhere in the corner lingering. That is how you'll discover yourself, because I bet you a lot of women do not know themselves because their identity has always been tied to a relationship. Some people have never been single. They don't even know what it means to be single. They actually do not know. In fact, when they are single, it's like they're in a crisis. They don't know what to do. You need to enjoy your own company. I know this message is for women, but it's also good for men. Because by you being on your own, you will discover things about yourself that you will not tolerate if somebody, didn't measure up for those things. But most of us, because we want to be in relationships so bad, we rather be in a horrible relationship than be single. And I've gotten a lot of stories about ladies' experiences telling me that they're in this toxic relationship but they are afraid of being single. That's why they don't know what to do. They don't want to leave, but they know they should leave, but they're afraid of being single. Let me tell you, you can only fall in love with yourself when you're on your own. It's very hard for you to find who you are in a relationship. That's why they say if you're not happy single, you will never be happy even with a man or a woman in a relationship. My advice to anybody out here who is looking to be in a relationship and wanting a relationship, have a phase in which you're single to discover who you are, to learn your body, to learn what you like, what you don't like, what kind of partner you want, what kind of things you can compromise on and which kind of things you can't compromise on. If you do not know those things, trust me, you're going to repeat the same cycle you've been repeating, wanting different results, but you're playing the same playbook. I am not a relationship coach, but that is something I have, read about, experienced it myself, and I have come to realize that as a woman, once you have a period where you are just single, is the most profound phase of your adult life. Let me know if I'm wrong.
Men have had it with women. They are walking away. Hope you are handy around the house. I actually am. Thank you. And, obviously I don't know how to do it all. The good thing is, I'm in an apartment. I don't have to be handy. If I have an issue, I just call maintenance. When I was actually still married, I am the one who did anything around the house, unless it was hired out. My ex-husband couldn't even change a light bulb. Squeaky hinges, took care of all that. Hanging stuff up, I took care of that too. He was able to go to work and he was able to get himself home from work and eat lots of snacks while sitting in bed. I love it when men use this argument that they're basically saying like men are only good for physical labor. They don't understand that, number one, many women are handy. And number two, whatever we're not able to take care of, we can hire someone. There's many, many services out there. Whatever it is that needs to be done, we can hire someone. We have money. We have jobs. When men think that that's their main selling point, they're bidding against themselves. It shows you that they are horrible, horrible salespeople because, you know, there's no selling point. What are you offering me that I can't get somewhere else? Absolutely nothing, except for a headache. And you know what? I can go sit in traffic and get a headache too.
Do you know women's cortisol levels drop 35% when they've been living by themselves for 3 months or longer? This is done by research by Joe Dispenza, and I can tell you, like, after being in partnership and living with men for so many years now, and now living on my own in my own apartment, I have never felt peace like this in my life. And this is not a slander against men or anything. I'm just telling you, the peace that I feel right now is unmatched. I feel like I can think. I feel like when I'm out in public, I'm more relaxed. I'm walking more confidently. I'm walking slower. I feel clearer about what I want to do with my future. I know what I need to do with my day. I can work longer hours because I'm not so stressed out and caught up in somebody else's mood and what somebody else expects of me. I don't feel like I'm not enough. And that's always how I feel in partnership with a man, especially when I'm living with him. I never feel like I can fully relax at home. I love to cry for no reason. Like, I just cry on a regular basis, and not because I'm sad, but just because I enjoy it. And so, like, I like to be able to do that when I'm home. And I realize when I cry more often, I'm more in touch with my feelings, and I let myself just laugh and whatever. Like, I don't feel as emotionally constipated like I do in a partnership. And I feel like then when I'm in public, I'm a lot more emotionally regulated and happy and light. Sure, was there an initial detox? Like, I felt super anxious the first day or day and a half, and I cried a lot. It's like adjusting to be on your own again. But I swear that like third or fourth day, I was like, oh my God, the clouds have cleared. Like, I'm not angry all the time anymore. Like, as you've seen on my other content, like being angry, like I forgave the guy that cheated on me. I don't care anymore. I'm moving upward and onward. Like, I feel so good. It's just, I just think women have been sold this lie that we need men and men make us happier. Because you cannot contest the way that you feel when you're by yourself. As a woman, it feels just euphoric. And the last time I was by myself, it was after another breakup, and I was traveling around the world. And I equated it to just, living off my savings and traveling and, not having any obligations or being in Thailand. But I think it was just being alone. That's why I was so happy. And what's crazy too is when I was in a relationship before, like I would always be thinking like, oh, I need to go do social stuff. I like this obligation, like, okay, I need to go make friends. Now I don't care. Like, I feel so happy just not doing anything and going and doing stuff on my own. And I'm naturally wanting to just go to, I went to a Zumba class today and saw a girl I hadn't seen in forever. And we're like, oh, let's meet up and whatever. Like, things just happen more naturally. They're not as forced. And I don't feel this constant rumination in my head that I felt when I was living with a partner. And if you want to watch the whole video of this, it's Why Women Who Live Alone Are the Happiest by Joe Dispenza. Look that up on YouTube. It will completely change your mindset.
Video that went viral recently about how women are prioritizing peace over low-grade, low-effort relationships with men. And the number one comment that I got from men was, well, fine, if you can live without us, we're just not going to protect you anymore. So first of all, who exactly are you protecting us from? Is it Sarah that we're afraid is going to break into our home and assault us? Or is it men? Is it men that you're protecting us from? Secondly, when women say that we'd rather have peace and safety, we're not talking about physical safety. We're talking about emotional safety. The reason there is an epidemic of lonely, depressed men is because women would rather be alone than in an emotionally unsafe relationship. I feel that we're in emotional danger when we can't be vulnerable and express how we feel, or being constantly criticized or put down or ignored. For all the men run to the comments and say, well, we want to be valued too. Yes, and you deserve that. But why are 72% of divorces initiated by women? And why statistically are women thriving in singledom and men are not? It is because women en masse are willing to put in the work, be self-reflective, and do what it takes to show up, and men simply are not.
I've seen a lot of women talking about how they are child free, they don't want to be married. And then when I go in the comment section, it is men in the comment section getting angry at the fact women are choosing themselves over choosing them. Because men cannot believe for 1 second that a woman could be happy without them. They just cannot believe it. They're just completely shocked because they can't be happy without women. They literally cannot. So when they see women not having children, not, getting married, they don't like it because it's going against the patriarchy. That's why I say to men, keep doing you. Keep doing you, girl. Like, honestly, keep doing you. And just don't pay attention to these men because that's all they do. They're haters. That's all I can say.
I mean to tell me that a healthy, happy woman will willingly choose to spend the rest of her life by herself. Like, is that what we're saying? So being single by choice is very real, right? You can be in your single season. You can decide, like, I'm just, living my life, not ready for a relationship, not interested in a relationship, and that's okay. But there's one thing to say, that this is the choice that I'm making, that I want to spend the rest of my life by myself, no husband, no kids, no nothing, just me, myself, and I find it hard to believe. It sounds like a lot of bitter, broken, unhealed, unhappy women. And instead of joining all these movements, how about you join a therapy group? How about you hit up that number on the back of your insurance card if you have insurance and find out where you can find you a therapist, because that's what you need. I don't, it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. Like, it don't make sense.
You ask for these women to go to therapy, so I feel like as a therapist, maybe I should share some perspective on this. I think we need to leave people alone for them to decide what they want to do with their life. Yes, a normal, healthy woman can decide to be single and not have children, and it is completely her choice. Don't know what you are measuring normal and healthy by, but in therapy, therapists don't force people to go for a relationship if the person has decided that this is what makes me happy, this is what works for me, this is what my life could look like. A therapist isn't going to force somebody have children and have a partner because that's what you are supposed to do as a woman. It is society that forces these roles on women. It is society that look down on women. It is somebody like you that make women who decide that they don't want to have children or get married feel like they are missing something or they are less than. If you made a choice to get married and to have children, that is completely your choice. Nobody is forcing you not to have children or not to get married. It is your choice and you are happy with it, and that is fine. If the woman next to you decides that I don't want to have children, I don't want to have a partner, I want to go through this life without that, that is also completely fine. So let us normalize allowing people to make the choices that they want to make in their lives and not forcing our reality and our experiences onto other people.
Whenever a woman says that she's single and she's good looking and all of that stuff, men especially tend to assume that it's because there's a problem with her and that she's undesirable. And if she's not married, it's like, oh, like, you're at the bottom of the barrel, nobody know why you, yada, yada, yada. But really and truly, a lot of women nowadays are choosing to stay single and unmarried because these men nowadays are built differently. I don't know what it is, but these days it's better for you to stay single and happy and maintain your sanity than to go be in a relationship just for the sake of saying you have a man or for saying you're married. Have you ever felt lonely in a relationship? That loneliness is worse than the loneliness that you will feel while you are by yourself. Because by yourself, yeah, normal and natural for feeling lonely. But when you're in a relationship and you feel lonely, that's the worst thing ever. I have done so much work to get myself to the level where I am right now. And I honestly cannot risk all of that just to be in a relationship with somebody. In order for me to say I'm comfortable with being in a relationship with somebody, they have to meet certain standards, and the standards that I have are not unrealistic. They're quite easy to meet if you are a decent human being and if you're a good man.
Reasons why I just love being single. 1, if I wake up at 3 a.m. and I want to drive somewhere and get me a freaking hot little snack, I don't gotta tell nobody. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go. Number two, if I want to pop, lock, and drop it in the street, who's going to say something to me? Nobody. Number three, I don't got to do this. Can I? Will I? Do you mind? Can I do this? Why don't you like them? Absolutely not. No, because you know who I answer to? Right here. This girl. Number four, I'm sleeping peaceful. Peaceful. Nobody done made me mad other than maybe my kids. But I'm not going to be up wondering if they're going to text me. I'm in a relationship with my dang self. I can't get into feelings about myself because I'm me and I'm awesome. Last but not least, number five. Don't gotta mess with anybody else's parents. Just your own. And I know for sure my parents love me. Don't gotta question it.
The happiest people are single women and married men. It was like this whole debate, and I'm like, I really think that is true.
Honestly, you guys, I feel like a lot of married women are unhappy.
Because they take on both roles.
They
A
do.
lot of women take on both roles, and
They
that's
do.
what makes them unhappy. Because when a man gets married, he automatically gets everything. He gets a home. He gets, the good parts of a woman.
He gets a chef, a nanny, a house cleaner, a prostitute.
They get everything.
They get everything.
Literally. And then the woman is expected to do the housework and work as well.
Honestly, I don't want to say a lot of women enable it, but it's you got it. I think Cher 7 says something really well. She's just don't do it for a week.
I saw a TikTok the other day of somebody saying that part of the reason why so many women are choosing to stay single and not get married is because there's way too many grown men that don't know that you're supposed to wash your booty hole in the shower. And it reminded me of the time I was dating this guy, and this TikTok from Nicki Minaj came up on my For You page where she was like, you need to wash your ass in the shower. And I saw that TikTok and I was in a silly goofy mood. So I asked him, I was like, when you're in the shower, do you spread your cheeks to let the water in? And he was like, nobody does that. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, I just asked both of my roommates and they said they don't do that either. Literally nobody does that. And he was arguing with me about the fact that you're not supposed to wash your booty hole in the shower. And I
don't talk enough about the amount of peace that comes with being single as a woman. When you got your own money, when you got your own place, when you got your own car, when you got your own job, when you got a bed that you can come in and rub your feet together at night, when you got your own snacks in the refrigerator, when you are able to just sit in the comfort of your home by yourself and not be lonely. Take notes, ladies. Sometimes what you think is worth it ain't always worth it. And if I'm being honest, the easiest thing to get is a man.
So, controversial take, but then again, when am I not? And even stuff that I don't think is controversial, people will still say it's controversial. So here we are. But I was thinking the other day, and I think about this a lot, and I think about why so many men are angry at women that are happy to be child-free and single, and the biggest insult they can offer us is you're going to die alone with cats or dogs or some kind of pet. And I see so many women rejoicing in this and being like, fuck yeah, pets, no children, no commitment, no raising a man like a second child. Where is the point where I'm losing here? This sounds like the ideal situation. Now, obviously, it doesn't apply to all women. I'm talking to women that are single by choice. I'm talking about women that choose not to have children. Obviously, this doesn't apply to the women that have husbands and are happy, and that have children and are happy, and that is a life they wanted, and they made that decision, and they are very happy with that decision. This does not obviously apply to them. But so women like myself that would be more than happy to die alone. If I meet the love of my life, great. If I don't, also great. I'm really content with both options. I've enjoyed being in relationships and I've enjoyed being single. I forced myself to get uncomfortable with being single so that if that ever was the reality for the rest of my life as a woman that doesn't want children and who finds it hard to meet men that don't want children, will I be okay with it? Yes, and I was content with that quite a while ago. So both suit me, both I'd be okay with. But whenever you say this, there's a lot of men that really hate it and they try to throw spinster at you, or they try to throw old or damaged goods or tainted or, the bog standard misogynistic bullshit that we hear all the time. And I was thinking to myself, why do these men get so angry? Why do they hate the idea of me doing something by myself in my home alone
that has nothing to do with them. And I'll tell you the conclusion I drew from this. It may not fully be the truth, but it's what I think is to be the truth about a lot of misogynistic men. And that is that men really hate their own company, and that these types of men, not all men, and that these types of men really don't know how to be alone because the voices in their head are too painful. The trauma, the wounds from childhood, all this stuff comes up. All the things that they don't want to face, that they've constantly ignored since they were children, that comes up, and the silence is too loud. And because the silence is too loud, they can't stand being by themselves. So because women are now very okay with that, we will often sit in our trauma and our wounds and our pain, or we'll take ourselves to therapy, we'll journal, we might do all of it, and we're very okay with it. The idea of a woman being okay with something they're not, I think they're jealous of. On top of that, if those women are okay with that and they choose to go and be single and not involve themselves with men, and not have a partner, that means there's more of these men left over without a woman doing emotional labour for them, which means they're forced to be in the house, in their head. And I think, and I don't think these are all the reasons, but I think these are two of the big reasons. I think that's really uncomfortable for them. Because for me, if I met a man and he said, I really want to have a family, I wouldn't be like, how dare you want to have a family? And if I met a man and he said, I really want to be by myself, I don't want to date somebody, I'd be like, good for you, bro. Yeah, you see so many of these men that when women are like openly opting into it, because they don't want to do that, and because they can't fathom doing that, they think it must be a lie. Because men think from their perspective that we think somewhat like them, even though we don't, the same way we as women often think the men might think more like us than they actually do. We are quite diverse. I think a lot of men think, I can't imagine doing that, so how are you able to do that? And because I don't understand it, what do we do when we don't understand something and we are ignorant? We become angry, we shout at it, we end up projecting our inner pain that we feel towards that situation. So if we're not okay with something and you can do it easily, that triggers us. And I honestly think that for all the women I know where I say, how would you feel about dying alone with cats? How would you feel about dying alone without family? How would you feel about, just going to a coffee shop with all those other little old ladies? How would you feel about that? So many of them, the ones that don't want children or the ones that are really sick of dating shitty men, they're already content. But loads of men I know are not content with that idea. And loads of men I know can't imagine doing that. And I honestly think it's because when you sit in silence and when you're in your aloneness, and lots of men are used to distracting themselves, but as you get older, you can't distract yourself in the same way because your boys are married and your boys have families and your boys have kids. You are now forced to sit in that aloneness. And men since childhood have never faced their aloneness and have never faced their pain and have never faced their trauma. And so because they'll now be forced to do it with nobody being their companion and either helping them through it or serving as a distraction, that scares the fuck out of them. And to add to that, I also think this is the reason why a lot of men want children. I have a whole different take on this, and that's for a different day because I'd be here forever. But I think a lot of men want children because once you've got the girl and once you've got the kids, if your girl ever decides that she's not okay with the treatment you're giving her, because men somehow think that they're entitled to unconditional love, and they don't realise that your girl can unconditionally love you and still leave you. That's not what the unconditional love is. That's, you want a girl to unconditionally stay for your BS. But because a woman might one day turn around and go, this behaviour isn't good enough, I'm not happy, and instigate a divorce, well, at least if I've got the kids, I've got somebody there to look after me and love me unconditionally. And I've been having this conversation a lot recently where I say, children do not love you unconditionally. They are dependent on you because you are literally their means of survival. Once that child gets to the age of 15, 16, sometimes even younger, and realises you're a piece of shit, they will not unconditionally love you anymore. Once a lot of children grow up and realise who you are as a person, that unconditional love goes out the window. If anything, the wife that stays by your side through thick and thin, as long as you're not a total piece of shit and it's actually reasonable things to stay with somebody through, that's unconditional love. That's unconditional love. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents worth. I actually have a lot more sense to give on this, because I have a lot of opinions and I spend a lot of time observing and talking to men in so many different ways where so many of them tell on themselves without realising they're telling on themselves. And I will ask them key questions, whether that be through my job, coaching, or through just everyday life things, work that I used to do, working in all different backgrounds, being on the train and having a conversation with a guy that's married but wants me to not realise he's married because he just took his ring off 5 seconds before talking to me. Loads of different backgrounds where I talk to men, I will ask them specific questions where I know they're going to tell me something they don't realise they're telling me, and they tell on themselves all the time. And so for me, a lot of these men that are married and unhappy and they're cheating, or a lot of these men that are angry that women are making the choice to choose to live without them, a lot of it is because they're scared of being left behind, because we actually do better at being by ourselves than they do. And if you're triggered by this, then this probably applies to you, because if you're a happy person that's in your own little bubble and this doesn't apply to you, this will have no effect on you. So if it does, maybe take a moment to reflect that maybe there might be some truth behind it.
Sir, I know you meant this as a diss, but I sincerely hope you're right, because I hope that happily single women teach other women that they can also be happily single until they find their partner. And if they never want to be in partnership, they can live successful, happy lives single and don't need to be in partnership. That way they won't settle for partners that aren't right for them. Being single isn't contagious, but Lord, I hope being happily single is.
I will choose to be single because, baby, there are just some things I cannot stand, okay? Like, as soon as you find out that you are being cheated on. And fortunate, I mean, I wouldn't say it's fortunate. Very unfortunate for you to even know who the girl is. Baby, I've been there. Girl, it's not a nice place. Because one thing I know for sure, you are going to be on that girl's page, the whole day. Huh? You're gonna be checking up on her, girl. I swear. Scrolling down her pictures, scrolling down her posts, seeing if anything is linked to your man, connecting the dots, and they do actually connect, and then you will cry. Cause baby, that's why I'm saying I'm not about to do that to myself. Like, I've been there. It's the last place to be. Like, the obsession you suddenly just have with that girl.
A lot of women choose to be single. It's not that we're not able to get a man. We choose to be single. We choose to be single because we don't want to be placed under foolish leadership, because you can't be submissive to a fool. Being chosen isn't an issue for most of us. It's just not. We just don't want the mental load that most men place on women. We require a mate that is equally yoked and that will not come with a lot of extra stress, chaos, and confusion. So we choose not to settle, and we choose not to date and practice abstinence until we are able to find someone that we know can be a lifelong partner.
Thank God I'm not engaged. Thank God I'm not married. Thank God I have no kids. Like, I'm free. I can do whatever I want. You know how cool that is? You are in your 20s. No relationship, no kids, nothing tying you down. You can go anywhere, you can do anything. Instead of being bummed, like, oh, I haven't found my person yet, blah, blah, blah. The person will come. Just build the life that you want. So much more fun just doing things for you and building that relationship with you. And it's so cheesy, but like, I'd rather be hanging out with me than compromising with some dude. Been there, done that.
So here we are in 2025, a time when more and more women are saying, I choose me. Not because they've given up on love, but because they've stopped chasing pain dressed up as romance. It's not that women hate relationships. It's that they finally realized being single isn't a punishment. It's peace. It's freedom. It's not waiting on a text back to feel wanted. And when the choice is between being lonely with someone or being whole by yourself, more women are choosing the second one. And honestly, that makes sense. Maybe it's not about being anti-man or anti-relationship. Maybe it's just about raising the bar and refusing to settle for the bare minimum. And until the energy matches, the effort is mutual, and the respect is real, a lot of women are perfectly fine doing life solo. So if you're one of those women, or you know someone who is, drop a "pah" in the comments. Let's stop shaming women for choosing themselves. Hit that like button if this hit home, subscribe if you're here for real conversations, and stay tuned, because we're just getting started.